Have you ever held a piece of amber? It feels warm in your hand, a beautiful golden stone that seems to glow from within. Many people think it is simply hardened tree sap, but that is not quite right. Amber is something far more special. It is ancient tree resin, fossilized over millions of years. Imagine a thick, sticky substance oozing from a tree long, long ago. This resin was a tree's way of healing a wound, perhaps from a storm or an insect bite. It was a sticky trap, and anything that stumbled into it was caught for good. This golden liquid became a perfect tomb, preserving tiny pieces of a lost world for us to discover today. This is no ordinary stone. It is a time capsule, a tiny window that lets us peek into a world that vanished long before humans ever walked the earth. Inside these golden gems, we find the most incredible things. We find insects with their delicate wings still intact, so perfect you can see every tiny vein. We find flowers that bloomed when dinosaurs roamed, their petals still holding a hint of their ancient shape. These are not just impressions left in rock, they are the actual creatures and plants, locked away in their golden prison. Each piece of amber tells a story, a snapshot of a moment that happened 100 million years ago. Think of it like a photograph, but one that is three-dimensional and perfectly preserved. A normal fossil, like a dinosaur bone, tells us about the skeleton of an animal. It gives us a clue about its size and shape. But amber does something more. It preserves the soft parts of an animal, its skin, its feathers, its muscles, and sometimes even the colors it once had. It allows us to see the world as it truly was, full of texture, detail, and life. This is why amber is so precious to scientists. It fills in the gaps that bones alone cannot, giving us a far richer, more vibrant picture of ancient ecosystems. In this journey, we will explore the most amazing secrets that amber has revealed. We will look at creatures so bizarre and moments so dramatic that they seem to come straight from a fantasy story. We will see a dinosaur's tail, complete with its feathers. We will witness a spider in the middle of an attack. We will even learn about the oldest known creatures ever found trapped in this golden substance. Prepare to be astonished, because the story of amber is the story of life itself, frozen in a single, breathtaking moment in time. It is a silent, golden world, waiting patiently for us to come and listen to its tales. So how does a simple drop of tree resin become this incredible time capsule? The journey is a long and remarkable one. It all begins with a tree, usually a type of pine or another conifer that lived millions of years ago. When this tree was damaged by a burrowing beetle, a broken branch, or even the scrape of a passing dinosaur, it released a thick, sticky liquid called resin. This resin was not the same as sap, which is the watery fluid that carries nutrients through the tree. Resin was the tree's bandage, a protective goo designed to seal the wound and stop fungi or insects from causing more harm. This resin was incredibly sticky. As it dripped slowly down the bark of the ancient tree, it acted like flypaper. Unlucky insects, tiny lizards, spiders, and even small birds could easily become trapped in its gooey embrace. Pollen, flower petals, leaves, and feathers floating on the breeze would also get stuck. The resin would continue to flow, covering these tiny victims completely. Once encased, they were protected from the air and from being eaten by other creatures. This was the first step in their long journey through time, a perfect burial in a golden coffin that would shield them from decay for ages to come. But being trapped in resin is not enough to become a fossil. The resin had to go through a very special process. First, it needed to be buried. Over thousands of years, the forest floor would be covered by layers of soil, sand, and sediment from rivers or oceans. The lumps of resin, now hardened into a material called copal, were buried deep underground. Down there, they were subjected to immense heat and pressure from the weight of all the layers above them. This pressure and heat slowly cooked the resin, changing its chemical structure over an incredibly long time. This natural cooking process, which takes tens of thousands or even millions of years, is called polymerization. The molecules inside the resin linked together, forming a very hard, stable, plastic-like material. This is the substance we know as amber. It is durable enough to survive for hundreds of millions of years, protecting its precious contents from the outside world. Only then, after this long and difficult transformation, does the resin become a true fossil, a piece of amber ready to be discovered, holding its ancient secrets for scientists to unlock. When we think of fossils, we usually picture the giant skeletons of dinosaurs assembled in a museum. These bones are magnificent, of course. They teach us about the size and structure of these incredible beasts. But they are essentially rocks, minerals that have slowly replaced the original bone over millions of years. They are a copy of the original, not the original itself. This is where amber is completely different. The creatures found inside amber are not copies. They are the real thing, preserved with a level of detail that is almost impossible to believe. Imagine finding a fossil so perfect that you can see the individual hairs on a fly's leg, or the delicate pattern on a beetle's wing. That is what amber gives us. It preserves the soft tissues that usually rot away within days of death. We can see muscles, skin, and sometimes even internal organs. In some cases, the original colors of the creature are still visible. Feathers trapped in amber have been found with their microscopic color cells, called melanosomes, still intact. This allows scientists to figure out if a feather was black, brown, or even iridescent, something bones could never tell us. This incredible preservation gives us a much more complete understanding of ancient life. For example, some amber fossils contain parasites like ticks, still attached to their hosts. One amazing discovery was a tick clinging to a dinosaur feather. This tells us that even the mighty dinosaurs had to deal with annoying pests, just like animals do today. We also find evidence of behavior. We can see insects in the middle of mating or a spider attacking its prey. These are not just fossils of dead animals. They are frozen moments of life, capturing actions and interactions from a lost world. The most important amber deposits for understanding the age of dinosaurs come from a place called Myanmar, in Southeast Asia. This amber is about 99 million years old, dating right back to the Cretaceous period. It was formed in a lush tropical forest teeming with life. As a result, the amber from this region has given us some of the most spectacular finds ever seen. From tiny flowers caught in the act of pollination to baby snakes and feathered dinosaurs, the amber of Myanmar has opened a truly unique and breathtaking window into the world as it was 100 million years ago. Perhaps the most famous and breathtaking discovery ever made in amber is that of a real dinosaur tail. For a long time we knew from bone fossils that some dinosaurs had feathers, but we could only guess what they looked like. We had found impressions of feathers in rock, but never a three-dimensional part of a dinosaur preserved with its feathers still attached. Then, in 2016, scientists announced an unbelievable find from Myanmar, a piece of amber containing the tip of a small dinosaur's tail, covered in delicate feathers. It was a discovery that changed everything we thought we knew. The tail was tiny, only about 1.5 inches long, and belonged to a young dinosaur. It was not from a bird, but from a type of dinosaur called a coelurosaur, a group that includes the famous Tyrannosaurus rex and Velociraptor. Using powerful scanners, scientists were able to look inside the amber without breaking it. They could see 8 small vertebrae, the bones of the tail, still connected. They could also see the remains of skin, muscles, and ligaments. It was the first time anyone had seen this level of detail on a dinosaur that wasn't a bird. But the most incredible part was the feathers. They were not stiff like the flight feathers of a modern bird. Instead, they were soft and downy, more like ornamental plumes. This told scientists that these feathers were probably not used for flying. Instead, they might have been used for sending signals to other dinosaurs, for keeping the animal warm, or simply for decoration, like the beautiful tail of a peacock. The feathers were a chestnut brown on top with a pale or white underside. For the first time, we could see the real color and texture of a dinosaur's plumage. This tiny piece of amber gave us more than just a pretty feather. By analyzing the chemicals inside, scientists even found traces of iron. This iron was left over from the dinosaur's blood, from the hemoglobin in its red blood cells. It was an astonishing connection to a living, breathing animal that died nearly 100 million years ago. The discovery was a reminder that dinosaurs were not just monsters from a movie, they were real animals. They had blood, skin, and feathers, and this little piece of amber brought one of them back to life in a way no skeleton ever could. While a dinosaur tail is a spectacular find, amber is most famous for preserving the smaller inhabitants of the ancient world. These tiny creatures give us a rich picture of the ecosystem in which the dinosaurs lived. One of the most amazing examples is the discovery of a baby snake, also from the 99-million-year-old amber of Myanmar. The tiny snake was a newborn, less than 2 inches long. It was so perfectly preserved that scientists could count its vertebrae, 97 of them. They even found a second piece of amber nearby that contained a shed skin from another snake of the same species. This tiny fossil was a huge deal for science. The fossil record for snakes is very poor because their skeletons are so small and delicate. Finding such a complete and young specimen helped scientists fill a major gap in our understanding of how snakes evolved. It showed what some of the earliest snakes looked like and how they lived in the forest environments of the Cretaceous period. It was a tiny creature, but it answered some very big questions about the history of one of the most successful animal groups on the planet today. It was a snapshot of the very beginning of a snake's life, frozen for eternity. Amber also preserves some of the most delicate life forms, including snails. One astonishing piece of amber captured a mother land snail in the very act of giving birth. The fossil shows the adult snail Cretatortulosa gignans with 5 tiny baby snails emerging from her shell. One of the babies is still attached to its mother. This is the oldest direct evidence of live birth, or viviparity, ever found in a snail. It proved that this reproductive strategy existed nearly 100 million years ago, helping these snails survive in the limestone-rich forests of their time by giving their young a head start in life. Other snails found in amber reveal different secrets. One extinct species named Archaeocyclotis brevivillosus was found with its shell completely covered in short, bristly hairs. These tiny hairs were only about 1/5 of a millimeter long. Scientists believe these hairs might have helped the snail grip onto wet leaves, or perhaps they served as camouflage by helping dirt and debris stick to its shell. It's a strange feature that we see in some modern snails today, and this fossil proves that it is an ancient trait. These tiny hairy snails crawling around the forest floor add another layer of detail to our picture of the Cretaceous world. One of the most thrilling things about amber is that it does not just preserve what animals look like. It can freeze them in the middle of an action, capturing a dramatic moment of life or death. These fossils are incredibly rare and unbelievably precious. They are like a scene from a nature documentary that has been paused for 100 million years. One of the most dramatic examples of this is a piece of amber that contains a spider attacking a wasp. It is the only fossil ever found of a spider actively capturing prey in its web. In this incredible scene, we see a juvenile orb weaver spider lunging towards a tiny male parasitic wasp that has been snared in its web. The spider was just about to wrap its victim in silk when a drop of sticky resin fell upon them both, freezing the mortal struggle for all time. What makes this scene even more interesting is the relationship between these two creatures. This type of parasitic wasp is known to lay its eggs inside spider egg sacs. So in this fossil we are not just seeing a predator and its prey. We are seeing a young spider getting its revenge on a species that is a natural enemy of its kind. Another amazing action shot from the past comes from a creature that made its own light. Scientists discovered a beetle called Cretofungoides azari that lived nearly 100 million years ago. This beetle was a type of firefly, and its fossil was so perfectly preserved in amber that its light-producing organ was still intact. This organ, located on its abdomen, is what allows modern fireflies to glow in the dark. By studying the fossil, scientists believe that the ability to create light, known as bioluminescence, may have first evolved in the beetle larvae as a way to warn predators that they were toxic and tasted bad. Even plants can be caught in the act. One piece of Burmese amber contains several tiny flowers, each only about 2 millimeters wide. But these are not just fossilized flowers. They are flowers caught in the middle of reproducing. Scientists could see pollen grains sitting on the flower's stigma, the part that receives pollen. They could even see tiny pollen tubes growing from the grains down towards the flower's ovary. This is the oldest direct visible evidence of plant sexual reproduction ever discovered. It shows that insects were already pollinating flowers 99 million years ago, a crucial partnership that shaped the world we live in today. While the Cretaceous amber from Myanmar gives us a stunning look at the age of dinosaurs, other amber deposits around the world take us even further back in time. The title for the oldest amber with any creatures trapped inside goes to a discovery from the Italian Alps. These pieces of amber are not 99 million years old but an incredible 230 million years old. They date back to the Triassic period, a time when the very first dinosaurs were just beginning to appear. The world was a very different place then, and this amber gives us a glimpse of its tiniest inhabitants. The creatures found inside this ancient Italian amber were unbelievably small. They were 2 new species of gall mites, microscopic arachnids that are related to spiders and ticks. One was named Triasaccharus fetulae, and the other Ampetzoa triassica. These mites were only about 0.2 millimeters long, smaller than a grain of salt. Despite their tiny size, their preservation was extraordinary. Using powerful microscopes, scientists could see their mouth parts and the feather-like claws on their legs, which they used to cling to plants. Finding such delicate creatures from so long ago was a true marvel of fossil preservation. Alongside the mites, scientists also found a single, unnamed fly. Together, these creatures proved that these groups of animals were already well established 230 million years ago. Mites are often associated with flowering plants, but these mites lived long before the first flowers evolved. They likely fed on conifers, the dominant trees of that era. This discovery pushed back the fossil record for this group of mites by about 100 million years, completely changing our understanding of their evolutionary history. It shows that even the smallest creatures have a long and complex story to tell. The absolute oldest amber ever found is even more ancient. Discovered in a coal mine in Illinois, USA, this amber dates back 320 million years to the Carboniferous period. This was a time of vast, swampy forests, long before the dinosaurs and even before the Atlantic Ocean had formed. Unfortunately, this ancient amber does not contain any insects or animals. But it does contain the chemical fingerprints of the trees that made it, giving us clues about the plants that lived in these primeval forests. It stands as a silent testament to how far back in time the story of amber really goes. The incredible preservation of creatures in amber naturally leads to an exciting question, one made famous by the movie Jurassic Park. If we have a dinosaur's tail with traces of blood, or a mosquito that might have fed on a dinosaur, could we extract its DNA and bring these ancient creatures back to life? It is a thrilling idea, the ultimate dream of paleontology. The movie suggested that scientists could find dinosaur blood inside a fossilized mosquito, extract the DNA, fill in the gaps with frog DNA, and clone a living, breathing dinosaur. But sadly for now, this remains purely in the realm of science fiction. The problem lies with DNA itself. DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is the molecule that carries the genetic instructions for all living things. It is an incredibly complex and fragile molecule. As soon as an organism dies, its DNA begins to break down. Enzymes start to chop it up, and reactions with water also cause it to degrade. While the cool, dry, and stable environment inside amber is one of the best possible places for preservation, it cannot stop this breakdown completely. Over millions of years, the long strands of DNA shatter into smaller and smaller pieces until eventually, nothing usable is left. Scientists have tried very hard to find DNA in amber fossils. For a while, some studies claimed to have extracted ancient DNA, but these were later shown to be the result of contamination from modern DNA in the laboratory. The oldest authentic genetic material ever recovered is from a mammoth tooth found in permafrost, which was about 1 million years old. Scientific models suggest that even under the most perfect deep freeze conditions, no usable DNA could possibly survive for more than a few million years. The theoretical limit is estimated to be around 6.8 million years. Since the last non-avian dinosaurs died out about 66 million years ago, their DNA is simply too old to have survived. All the amazing dinosaur-era fossils we find in amber from Myanmar are around 99 million years old, far, far beyond the point where any intact genetic code could be recovered. So while we can see a dinosaur's feathers and skin, we cannot read its genetic blueprint. Jurassic Park will have to remain a wonderful movie, but the reality is that amber gives us a perfect snapshot of the past, not a recipe for recreating it. From the feathered tail of a dinosaur to the microscopic mites of the Triassic, amber has given humanity a gift of immense value. It is a golden archive of Earth's deep history, preserving life with a clarity and beauty that no other type of fossil can match. Each piece that is unearthed is a small miracle, a fragment of a lost world delivered into our hands. These golden gems are not just curiosities to be admired, they are vital pieces of the puzzle of life's evolution. They answer questions we never thought to ask, and show us creatures we never dreamed existed. The importance of these finds cannot be overstated. They give us an intimate look at the web of life from millions of years ago. We do not just see a single animal, we see an entire ecosystem. We see predators and prey, parasites and hosts, and the plants that formed the foundation of their world. We learn about behavior, color, and the tiny details of anatomy that tell the grand story of how life has changed and adapted over eons. The live birth snail, the pollinating flower, and the spider's attack are not just fossils. They are stories of survival, reproduction, and the timeless struggle for existence. Amber inspires a sense of wonder and curiosity in all of us. It connects us to the distant past in a tangible way. Holding a piece of amber with an insect inside is like holding a moment of time in your hand. It encourages young people to ask questions, to explore the natural world, and to imagine what the planet was like long before our time. It is a powerful tool for education, showing us that science is not just about facts and figures but about discovery, storytelling, and piecing together the incredible history of our own planet. The legacy of amber is the legacy of life itself, captured in all its fragile and intricate glory. As long as we continue to search for and study these golden time capsules, they will continue to reveal their secrets, offering us ever clearer windows into the ancient past. They remind us that our world has a deep and complex history, filled with countless forms of life that have come and gone, and they stand as a beautiful, glowing tribute to the endless story of evolution, a story that is still unfolding all around us today, one that we are now a part of.